Exclusive: Boris Johnson alerts UK's willingness to demine, help export grain from Ukraine. Kigali Prime Minister Boris Johnson said on Thursday Britain changed into inclined to help with demining operations off Ukraine's southern coast and was thinking about imparting coverage to ships to move hundreds of thousands of tons of grain stuck inside the US of A. Russia's February 24 invasion of Ukraine and blockade of its Black Sea ports has averted the U.S., historically one of the global's top meals producers, from exporting a great deal of the extra than 20 million tons of grain saved in its silos. This has helped push food expenses to record highs and left tens of millions of people suffering to consume, a disaster which Western officials say should last 2 years. Turkey is making an attempt to broker talks between the United Nations, Ukraine and Russia to create a likely secure sea corridor within the Black Sea. However, Moscow needs some Western sanctions lifted first to facilitate its grain and fertilizer exports. There is a task of work to be finished. We are running with the Turks and other European friends and allies to see what we can do, Johnson advised in an interview all through a go to Rwanda for a Commonwealth summit. London's insurance market has located the complete region on its excessive chance listing that means soaring fees for shipments. Johnson mentioned Britain was considering all options when requested whether or not the authorities should provide sovereign guarantees for delivery insurance. What the UK likely has to offer, most of all, is knowledge when it comes to maritime coverage, and a number of knowledge in shifting goods via, must we say, contested areas of the ocean, he stated. Asked if Britain became geared up to help Ukraine demine the area, Johnson stated, "Yes, I don't want to get into the technical or Navy information, but you can take it from what we've already executed in imparting gadget to the Ukrainians to help themselves shield that we're in reality talking to them at a technical level to assist demine Odessa. Any mine-clearing effort could be the most important tried for the reason that Iran-Iraq war of the 1980s, and any mission to clean mines off Ukraine could take numerous months." British Foreign Secretary Liz Truss mentioned one after the other on Thursday that urgent motion needed to be taken inside the subsequent month, beforehand of the next harvest, to keep deliver. Food crisis. Britain, the United States and the European Union, which are imparting fingers to Ukraine, have accused Russia of stoking a meals crisis by way of stopping grain exports from Ukraine, which accounts for about 1/10 of world wheat exports. In a declaration late on Thursday, Britain pledged £372 million ($456 million) in useful resource to countries hit hardest through growing worldwide meals costs and shortages of fertilizer, together with £130 million for the World Food Programme. Britain stated its funding will provide humanitarian useful resource to increase get entry to food across the worst-hit African nations. The European Union's overseas policy leader earlier this week said Russia changed into committing a conflict crime by using blockading the export of thousands and thousands of tons of Ukrainian grain. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky mentioned this month that hundreds of thousands of people ought to starve due to the blockade of Ukraine's Black Sea ports, which he said had left the sector getting ready to a terrible food disaster. Russia denies responsibility for the meals disaster, blaming it on Western sanctions imposed on Moscow, which have led to a leap in international food expenditures. It also says that the West has unfolded lies about the causes of the crisis. While acknowledging there were more than one factors why meals inflation turned into so high, Johnson accused Putin of seeking to hold the world to ransom with the blockade. It is clearly unconscionable, he mentioned. That supply could assist people round the sector, it can assist some of the poorest international locations in the global. $1 equals 0.8158 kilos.